episode.
Well, he's just counting on his fingers. Sorry, he's just counting.
Ish, ni, som, shi, go, ro, sich, ach. I think that's right for Japanese.
Okay, so we're now Japanese. Last week we were French.
Wait.
This week we are Japanese. That's the extent of your Japanese, probably. No rude words.
No, I don't know any. Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
I know lots more. What do we know?
What did we know? I don't know any.
Oh, there's a few more. We know. I only know counting to 10 because of karate.
Karate. So you are actually the Karate Kid.
Sorry, I turned from the microphone. I've got a new microphone position. It feels like I've got a big willy in front of my face.
Well, you're like that. That's fine for everybody at home. So karate. You did do karate, didn't you?
So did you?
I know. Very briefly.
I never got black belt. Got brown belt. Never got black belt. But
that
was the main reason
I
didn't
irk you.
Yeah, a little bit. But the main reason for black belt, you had to then practice another discipline. Do you remember? So we then had to do jiu-jitsu.
Oh, that was judo.
No, jiu-jitsu. Jesus.
I don't remember.
And do you remember the guy that taught us, teaching us to break fall off the back of a chair onto a wooden floor?
Yeah, I thought that was judo.
No, it was jiu-jitsu. Because it was all about holds.
Oh, yeah.
It's all submissive holds and stuff.
Oh, yeah. All I remember is we went one week. So you'd been doing it for a long time when you were younger, and then you went back to it again.
Yeah.
Like we do with most things.
So called judo.
And when I first met you, obviously you just started back again. So I went along because I loved it for the training. I really enjoyed
You quite liked the sparring, didn't you? Oh, yeah. But you had to spar against numpties.
Yeah, well, the trouble is I was obviously new, but I'm fairly coordinated and I can follow movement patterns quite well.
Dance moves, break.
And having been a gymnast, quite strong-ish in certain things like that. But then I was obviously like a white belt to start with, and I got partnered with people who were like 2 or 3 grades above me, which was fine, but they didn't know what they were doing. And I was like, well, you're supposed to know what you're doing. I'm the beginner.
You love to teach as well. You used to take over.
But because it was like, no, we're supposed to be doing this, and this. Why are you doing that? That's wrong. Anyway, I used to find that a bit frustrating. I loved all the training though, like the conditioning and stuff.
That was the best. Well, no, it was when I was younger. It was when I first started. And there was a husband and wife and 2 boys. They became UK champions, I believe, at Tolworth Rec. And we went in there and he said, right, I'm going to teach you. It was there, I think, at Tolworth. It wasn't with you.
No, you did, yeah. You used to do it back then.
So, but his first lesson, he goes, I'm going to teach you a move that always works in every single fight. And we were like, oh, this is brilliant. What is it, And then we stood there all in the us position, all prepared. And then he goes, ready? And we were like, us. And then he just ran out the dojo. And we're like, what? And then he came back in, he goes, if you got any chance, run away. And it was like, okay.
And I remember him, the jiu-jitsu guy obviously took that bit afterwards, said the same thing for defence. He's like, if you've got someone with a knife or a gun or something, it's just run. You can't, risk defending yourself for that.
Yeah.
And also remember we went one week with Ren, our friend.
Renato Maccialo Reale.
Yes. And they got Ziggy is like coughing and spluttering in the background.
She's been out in the cold today and she's got hypothermia.
Could you please be quiet? No, she's looking for her Kong thing because I've just removed it from the room. I put it in the cupboard.
You're going to have to keep still.
Can you look at the microphone when you speak, please? So those people can't hear you.
Please, sorry. Can you keep still, please?
Sorry, he's not a professional.
I've got so many rules now. It used to be so avant-garde.
No. This is all coming from a higher being, executive producers.
Oh, crikey. Telling me off.
So Ren, in the karate training, and we were doing something, I had to lie on our backs.
So we were doing conditioning. No, we were lying on our backs.
Yeah.
With
in
our
a line.
Absolutely straight, hands down by your side. And then you're all in a circle, and someone in the circle had to stand up and then run over everyone. So literally place your foot onto the stomach.
And be tough. And we were doing this, and as someone ran and stepped on Ren, he did this massive fart.
And then I lost control, so that by the time they hit me, I wasn't tense. It was brilliant.
It was comedy gold. Yeah. Comedy gold. Brilliant.
Very good. Do you see that thing talking about farting? There's a recent Instagram of a triathlete, world-class triathlete, and they've got the cameras on her. I think she's winning the race.
Oh, yes, she says, please
don't film behind her. Just show myself. I was like...
But super polite. It's still like running, flying
along.
I was like, that's dedication.
I mean, especially with the triathlon, I might assume that was Olympic distance. But
I think when you get to that level, it's like, I've literally been training, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. Well, Paula Radcliffe did it in the London Marathon. Do you remember? She stopped and had a poo.
Was it London or was it?
Yeah, it was London. I'm sure it was London.
One before that.
It was definitely London.
No, I thought it was somewhere that was really, really, really hot.
Oh.
Was it not Athens?
No, she pulled out that one. Another example of big athletes not being able to cope with heat.
Yeah, I just think that was... Anyway.
Yes, anyway.
Pooing, farting. We're moving on from sickness. We've talked about sickness. We're all over the sickness bug now.
Although apparently you did read a lot about it, didn't you? There's lots going around.
There's a lot going around. And I was told a story yesterday of someone who got the bug at a wedding and ended up coming back on the plane and had to be sick about 5-6 times. But I'd done it so quietly. I was like, if that was me on the plane, I think they would have been calling a priest because I think I've been possessed.
So... the young athlete I coach, who just did very well, got bronze at her competition, has now got it.
Oh, God.
Well, at least she got it afterwards, but I wonder if she was fighting.
Yeah, exactly, fought that.
It does show you, I think we talked about this, but you know when... so a client of mine's just gone on holiday, and he looked proper stressed, and I said, just be careful first 2 days. It's amazing what the body can do if you have to. Like, if you've got a big meeting coming up, and you don't go down with anything, it's like it's fighting off. Your adrenals are just keeping you going. Yeah. And then as soon as you go on holiday, people go down with like, and they go, oh, I can't believe it. The first 4 days of holiday, I was just literally in the hotel room, or back goes into spasm. Or there's my advice for today. We were going to talk about...
Hang on, we'll do Mark's bits in a minute. Do you want Mark's bits now?
This is kind of related, but a bit of advice. When you go on holiday and you've done a relatively long haul flight and you're dehydrated and you've been slogging it out to try and get to the holiday, get all your work done, do not lie on your front reading a book. I've had it 10-15 times with clients. So you're lying on a lounger in extended position, like a little bit of a cobra, reading your book for a long period of time, and then their lower backs just go into spasm. Yeah. So that's my advice. Never read a book on your front.
Lie on your back.
Lie on your back.
Knees bent.
Yeah.
Or do some nice mobilising and stretching as well before you know, because people can do that.
Yeah.
We do that because we're weird. And because I just like moving, I do it on the plane pretty much because I can't sit still on the plane.
But yeah, there's a bit of advice. Yes.
Well, I did see there was a clip on, obviously, the gram of this woman on some flight. I can't remember where she's coming back from. And she was at the back of the plane doing full... I mean, I don't know if it was a piss taken, they were just filming, but it looked real because all the air stewardesses were like just going, what are you doing? She's doing like a full yoga routine. Headstands.
Seriously?
In the middle of the thing. I mean, she looked slightly out
there. I can't remember, it's like you go from normal to slightly obsessive to just weird. And that, so, you know, if...
There's a fine line between dedicated and obsessive, I would say.
Yeah. And you do think, is she doing that so that people can see her? I mean, is there really a reason to do headstands on a plane?
Or she was wearing sort of like, you know, spiritual hippie trousers and all that sort of stuff. It wasn't like she was just wearing her Lululemons and just...
Well, I remember, I mean, with these, my watch, the Garmin, tells you altitude as well. And if you look at the altitude on a plane, I mean, it sets it like at 2,500-3,000 metres, which is super high. So no wonder people feel, you know, you get kind of swelling and you get kind of...
Well, you've got a water bottle. What happens to a water bottle? If you've got a plastic water bottle on a plane, it just completely contracts.
So the advantage of actually moving, but maybe not doing a headstand, and
it was a bit extreme. I mean, I get like moving.
She was wearing baby catchers, you know those big.
Yeah, that's what I just said. She was wearing all the like. You're not listening.
I didn't hear baby catchers. I heard yoga stuff.
Well, you like yoga floaty trousery things. Yeah. Just pay attention.
You've got a pair of those. No, Rachel gave me a pair. Orange pair.
I've got a pair as well. I've got an Ibiza.
That really lets things hang.
Ibiza. So what else has been happening? So yes, sickness, we're all over that now. We've been talking about that for long enough. We're done with that for now. But take Mark's advice. Vitamin C, vitamin D, multivitamins, hydration, sleep. Winter bugs are coming. Everybody you speak to, someone's either had a sick bug, cold, flu, winter bugs.
Yes.
So look after yourselves, people out there.
Yeah, and if you're feeling a bit knackered, don't completely beast yourself training. Leave a little in the tank. Otherwise, your immune system's just properly down for the next 6 to 8 hours.
Okay. So, talking of physicality, we went to watch Gladiator 2 at the cinema, didn't we?
I've had a few had clients yesterday. And we've had
We're not going to give any spoilers because it's a new film out. Obviously, you'll get... This is like pre-recorded.
But normally... I would say sequels are never as good. The Gladiator one was such an iconic film, wasn't it?
That's the thing. Usually with the first films that come out, there's usually something like Avatar, like Gladiator, like all these
Debbie Does Dallas. Never get
so
better than
that one.
Okay.
But, a lot of these films come out and it's just such a brilliant spectacle that it's quite hard to recreate that spectacle, I would say. Should I say spectacle again? Hands up, yes, he's putting his hand up. Wow.
What I've noticed with films now, and I think it's the way the world's gone now, like Gladiator 1, there was long periods within the film which were quite slow, building a storyline and so on. They can't do that in films now because people get bored. So there was a lot more action in Gladiator 2. Have you noticed that? They don't do, unless you're going to a very slow kind of film noir or whatever it's called, but all the films now, they have to take into account that the teenagers now will end up looking at their phone.
Yeah, I think that is that. But I think with this sequel, they're sort of assuming that most people will have watched the first one or have an understanding. I mean, Flynn hadn't watched the first one, so he spent most of the film going to me, who's that so-and-so? And I was trying to explain, that is so-and-so's, without giving stuff away. So for him, I don't think they needed to build the story because the story has always happened. And this was just the next stage of, decades later, whatever.
No, it was good. It was very good.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And actually, weirdly, funnily, I was like, inside, I was watching some of it. In the first one, it didn't really obviously relate to Gladiator as a show, particularly other than going into the arena. And obviously no one died and all that sort of stuff because we weren't slaves. We sometimes felt like it, but we weren't slaves. But for these guys, because, just the stuff they were doing sort of back underneath the arena and how they were sort of carried around a little crate that was like us being bussed from the hotel to the arena. And then
people throw things at you.
And all the stupid stuff, probably all the stupid stuff like, the training, I mean, obviously it's extreme in this because they're in the Roman times, but it's like the training that we're doing was like a training camp. It was like all of our lot all in the gym together or doing something stupid or on the training days. I actually did relate quite a lot of it. It was quite funny.
Well, you did. I do remember going to the, what were you in the Hyatt? And breakfast was like almost zoo-like. Wasn't it?
Oh my god!
With the boys,
ridiculous.
I mean, I thought I ate a lot, but there was some serious eating going on.
They would have things like porridge with egg whites.
Oh yes.
I mean, disgusting.
But then I came across,
and then they would have a chicken breast, at like 3 a.m. or something.
One of the teachers at school,
yes,
was saying he coaches this young lad who wanted to do some javelin or something, and then he's year 7. How old's that?
Like 12.
Yeah, there we are. So he hasn't started secondary school quite.
Yeah, no, year 7 is secondary school.
All right, that one.
Not
round
compared
there.
to you, but yeah.
And his dad used to make him have 3 raw eggs in the morning for breakfast. I mean, that's a whole different discussion. The whole pushy parent thing is like...
Yeah, but that's back to like the 70s, 80s, when like on Magnum and things like that.
Rocky.
They used to put...
Was it Rocky that used to start with...
Wasn't it PI, Magnum PI, didn't he? Used to put like eggs into a blender and...
Did he?
Yeah, I think so.
That moustache, you got to feed that moustache.
Oh,
Flynn grew a moustache.
Well, he's got very dark hair.
It wasn't bad.
Well, you're just jealous because you didn't.
I had a beard trim yesterday. My metrosexual.
Trimmed your beard.
He was quite aggressive, Turkish barber, and they you know how they kind of do a bit of a massage.
Okay. I don't know.
Well, they burn your ears.
I've never been to a Turkish barber.
They burn your ears with the flame, which is all it's a bit trusting.
It's scary.
And then they do this kind of aggressive slapping and massage while you're lying there with a hot towel on. But this guy, he was proper aggressive. Like the traps was like.
Maybe he didn't like you.
Maybe just found me extremely good looking and mostly put him into a kind of difficult.
Uglier.
Yes,
that's probably what.
But
it
was quite nice. Quite nice.
Ooh,
hot towel.
So yes, for Movember, it's November now.
But he got told off, didn't he?
But they're not allowed to at school. Even though he tried to blag that you were going to be doing a half marathon for charity.
Yeah, with a bionic
even though
leg.
you've got your bionic leg at the minute.
But what he's taken greater pleasure in, so he was told to shave it, but one of his mates who's blonde didn't shave his off, and no one's even spotted
noticed
that he's grown it. So Flynn took
even
greater
though
pleasure.
they're like twiddling with it.
Waxing it.
Yeah, I mean, Flynn's is literally like jet black hair, so it immediately shows on his face.
So
So Gladiator, go see it if you haven't seen it. It's great if you like that type of film.
That's definitely the type of thing because so this goes to another client brought it up as well. And Craigie at work, when he went there was someone just kept putting their phone light on to look for things. And then we had that guy that came in at Pisshead that came in halfway through, drank a bottle of beer, then fell asleep and snored. And I'm sorry, but you've got.
But you're paying quite a lot of money for your ticket as well.
Gladiator needs to be on a big screen. I get that. Yeah. Certain films you're like, oh, I'll wait till it comes out on TV. But I'm like, maybe I'm just getting old. But like sitting at home now, we've got this great screen and sound and all of that, and you're like, we're
Yeah, but
completely in control of your environment.
You know what
Did you put your hand up?
I don't need to. It's my podcast.
Oh, okay.
You're just here as a guest every week.
What am I?
You're just a guest every week.
What did you call me last week? Talent.
That's what it's called in the industry.
Is it?
The guest, you're the talent.
Nice. Like that.
Less people.
Nice.
I was getting very twitchy.
You always get twitchy. If someone opens a pack of crisps, even in the intros.
Because I find it really hard to concentrate.
But everyone else is the same.
No, they're not.
Well,
they're
then
not.
that's your
We
weird
have
OCD thing.
Exactly. We have noise, and also if someone's talking.
So you don't let me
I can't hear.
You don't let me deload the dishwasher because apparently the tone of my plates.
Yeah, the plates. So it's like, that
No, that's a control thing. Because if you do it, you do it, and you know when the noise is coming.
I place them carefully, more carefully than you do.
Don't.
Anyway, in the cinema, moving on. In the cinema, initially, when people arrive and they've just got like 15,000 packets of sweets and popcorn and drinks and faffing about, I don't mind. The whole of the trailers, the whole of thing, get your noises out then. When the film starts,
Yes.
especially at the beginning of films, because that's when they're setting the story, you're introducing the characters, everything's like coming to life. It's a very important part. People are rustling, like noisy, twitchy, and I can't hear it.
Do people still go to the cinema and snog, do you think? Like teenagers go to the back row and have a little...
I don't know. Probably. Don't know.
We should... Well, no,
let's
look
not
perverted.
ask our teenagers.
No, I was going to say look around.
They don't really go to the cinema because they've got Netflix. They just watch it here.
Yeah, true.
It's too expensive. So why pay money to go to cinema when you can watch it for free on your parents' TVs?
Yeah, good point.
Or Netflix account.
They do go to the cinema a bit.
Very occasionally, yeah. Okay, yeah, usually with us because we've paid for it.
Yeah, good point.
Not that often on their own. Sometimes film will go and watch like boy.
Sorry
boy
for my
film.
squeaks.
He's got a water bottle. It's very noisy.
I'll
very
keep the lid
noisy.
off.
Keep the lid off, otherwise, people will know. Okay, do you want to move on to Mark's bits? Mark's bits. Mark's bits. Mark's bits. Mark's bits.
Talent. Mark's talented bits.
Talented bits for Mark.
What were we talking about? Oh,
yes, go on.
Yeah. No, I was going to talk about the horrible news of Sir Chris Hoy, and obviously having stage 4 prostate. And it's interesting because his grandfather had prostate, his father had prostate.
May I just stop you 1 second? Can you just move your mic just a fraction away from me?
Am I too noisy?
Well, I did turn you up as well, and it's a little bit... Anyway,
that better?
That's better. Thank you. Carry on.
So he's obviously, there's a big family history of prostate cancer in his family. And he's really trying to push prostate testing to be done before the age of 50, which I think is the norm. He's 40. We looked it up.
48.
He's 48 now. Two things, and this isn't a bad thing, but if there's that much history in your family, he's trying to get it pushed to 40, which makes sense.
Yeah.
If you catch prostate early, it really is one of the most
but they would do that with
curable
breast cancer.
cancers.
If people have got hereditary breast cancer, you get tested.
What age do you get?
I don't know because I don't have that history in our family, but I know friends who've had it. I think they get from 30 probably.
Oh, is it?
I think it's quite young.
But it is. I mean, I know lots of clients are lucky enough to have private healthcare, and they get their kind of well-man checks and stuff, and they're looking at obviously PSA, which is a marker for prostate, and they look at cholesterol and various other things. But you can now get private blood tests, and I was just looking it up yesterday, and it's not astronomical. It's like 120 quid for the basic blood tests. And you think, well, how much do you spend on an MOT on a car each year, and tax and all of that? But people do not spend that money on themselves.
The health.
And I know it's scary. And when I go for bloods, you suddenly think, oh, what if?
Yeah.
And I'm, like to think of myself as healthy and fit and so on.
But you can't always know what's going on inside. That's the thing. You know how you feel, But as he said, he didn't really have any symptoms, but there is that history in his family. So it's
he had pain in his shoulder.
Yeah.
So a client came in the other day with pain in his lower back and went, that's it. And you're like, no, it's okay. It's just a muscular pain. But I do think getting testing done, obviously the NHS is completely stretched. So trying to get it through that. But, if you can afford 100 quid, 120 quid blood test, why not? And it's looking at trends, whether cholesterol's a little bit high or blood sugar levels are a little bit high. Sometimes that is the trigger to make positive changes in terms of your lifestyle, and you know what the health is so important.
We know friends who've obviously been diagnosed with various things, and it does change their outlook for quite a long period of time. I think sometimes people revert back once they know they're okay, But
Yeah,
a lot of the time it is that sort of wake up call almost to sort of change their lifestyle, whether it's stress work, overloading work, health, nutrition, exercise, whatever it is, that they suddenly become much more interested in that being a thing, because obviously it will hopefully will help them. Yeah. We're not saying everybody has to be, super healthy all the time, but just, I think, like you said, getting something screened. It's like I was getting, some lower abdominal pains, so went to the doctor, got it checked. After a smear, the smear was fine, but
Husband's willy was too big, do you think?
No, they didn't actually mention that, funny enough.
Okay.
But, having a smear, there was a few issues there, so I now have an appointment to go and get it checked. And it does, you do get a bit worried, because you think, oh my God, you think the worst, obviously, and I got an appointment quite quickly, so I'm then going, oh my God, but actually I'm just going to go with a positive outlook. And the thing is, you don't know. I'd rather know than have something 100%. Horrific, and it's too late.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
But go get your smears, go get your prostate checks.
Shove a finger up your arse.
Or get someone else too, because it's probably more fun that way.
But pick someone with small hands.
Okay.
Well, I don't want, albatross hands.
Oh, I don't know.
Can you have... Albatross don't have hands.
Is there a thing? I don't think albatrosses have
What has big hands? Like a primate.
Was it Mickey Flanagan was chatting on Graham Norton?
Oh, but that's his wife's
feet. I know, but saying she's got massive monkey feet. It's like, that's a bit harsh.
You've got big hands. Yeah, I wouldn't get you to test my prostate.
But then you wouldn't have to put your whole hand, would you? I've got big fingers. I'm hopefully not putting my whole hand up there. That's a whole different
Anyway,
podcast.
so yes, a bit of a downer, but it's not meant to be a downer, but...
But yeah, to getting testing, the blood tests, I mean, this is something you're obviously going to be doing at your new place, and that is key for you.
But it's really hard to push. It's amazing how many people are like, no, not interested. And you're like, well, tests don't guess. It is a bit, in when you're coaching people as well, if I don't know about them, you can see visually when they move that certain things are off and stuff. But if you can give a little, and blokes love numbers. Women, not so much. Yeah. Women, you want to, if you can say to them that this is going to make you feel better.
Yeah, and you're going to sleep better. Or be able
but men are like, well, what, if you're 23% weaker on one hamstring, and then you say to them 6 weeks later, well, now it's only 16%, they love all that. They love numbers.
It's going to make you more virile.
Yes.
Blokes would love that.
Yes. More attractive to ladies.
Or men.
Yes,
whatever your preference.
Thank you. Or broccolis.
Anything.
They, them.
Whatever your preference is going to make you more.
We were talking when we went out on...
Friday
night. One of the guys was saying
Friday
automatically
night.
On his email footings, it's got his name, and then obviously within their company, it's got he, him, hasn't it? Written in brackets. So I came across this with an email, with this email, and in the brackets, she, her, and I was like, yeah, she's called Claire.
I know, but it does get a bit extreme.
It's bollocks.
And also, I was really interested. Someone was talking the other day of that. Someone got really aggressive saying, but you're not using my pronoun. He's like, well, I don't know. I don't want to offend you by not knowing. And how do I know? Have it written on a T-shirt if that's such a big deal.
I think everyone thinks I'm a bit of a bigot, but I treat everyone with respect. But I mean, you don't know what to say now. You're like,
but they don't know. And let's say you actually say to hi, I prefer to be known as,
Roger,
as broccoli head or whatever it might be. Fair enough. We'll call you broccoli head. But if you don't know, don't be offended if I say it wrong.
If you walk in as a woman and you go,
hello,
nice, she's very nice. Don't call me she.
Yeah.
What? Hey.
Yeah. If it's a very big,
it's strong, a minefield out there.
Yeah, because you can't win sometimes. But I think treat people kindness and respect. That's all we've said is South.
And then we did meet our podcast's biggest
fan. Oh my God. We met our super fan.
Lavender. We're going to call her Lavender or Rosemary or Thyme. See what I've done there?
No, I'm going to call her Heather because that's her name.
Yeah, but she may not want...
You're kidding me? She was like so excited. She's someone we know. It's not like some random person.
She's an amazing runner.
So, yes,
So I used to see her on the motorbike because they live Putney on the way into work. And I used to beep her on the motorbike, obviously with a full helmet, and shout like rude stuff to her.
Usual. She's very, very cool. Kiwi.
So originally. I'd shout out nice arse or something like that, but not realising she had no idea who I was. And then I think one summer I had the open face helmet, and then I did actually communicate.
It's Mark!
But I was thinking about her on the way back yesterday.
So she ran 4 laps of Richmond Park, which is just...
with different people each lap.
Just for fun. just for fun.
Yeah.
She's
That was phenomenal.
an elite level runner. Really.
So I was thinking of when I was coming back last night in the pissing rain in the dark, and she refuses because she's had a few scary moments running at dusk, which I get.
Whole nother
I'm cycling
issue.
through the park with lights on and stuff, and it's pretty hairy. I know the park's different, but it's still pretty hairy. But I spotted the other day there was a girl running, good runner, and she was running along, and it was dusk, and there was. I just think you've taught this with the kids. If there's a woman on her own, you don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. So if you're running behind a woman, and you can just cross to the other side of the street, just run on the other side, or make it
give them
just,
space, basically, rather than feel like you're being
people.
Yeah, you feel like you're being followed, even if they're completely an unthreatening person. You know, there is that stage of, and our friend talked about, her son talked about it, he was walking and he said, it was just after that girl in London had been attacked and whatever. So it was a big issue, obviously, within the teenage boys sort of, and trying to be educated of what to do. And he was like, I didn't know what to do because, I didn't know whether to like walk really slowly so she has space, but then she thinks I'm following her, or, he says, so I just cross the road. And we were like, we do the right thing. You just cross the road so you're not in her space. She knows you're not following her because you've gone to the other side of the road, hopefully.
It doesn't help that Heather runs topless, so that's
She does not.
okay. But
Anyway, hi Heather.
But I do think in winter it's like, if you are into your fitness and you do a lot of stuff outside, I mean, it's dark at, what time does it get light now? 8?
Dark at 4 p.m.
So, all the times that you're not necessarily working, it's like dark. And
well, I did see there was a girl again on Instagram. I'm a bit of an Instagram freak, as we know.
How many hours do you think you spend on?
I'm not going to answer that question.
You never answer this.
Because I don't actually know the answer.
But you could look it up.
I could look it up, but I'm not going to.
Let's do it.
No.
Okay.
And for this exact reason, she's set up like a little run club.
Yeah, that's cool.
For I think...
Topless ladies.
No, it's your obsession.
I think it would get a big following on Instagram. Not necessarily other women.
I think the right following, actually.
Okay.
And she set up this because she said she didn't want to go out running when she got back from work, especially in the winter. It was dark and she didn't want to run on her own. She felt vulnerable.
Yeah.
So it's a group of girls all run together. There's about 15, 20 of them, and they all meet at a certain point and they do a little run.
That's cool.
A couple of times a week in a big group, all different levels. But it's just a women's running club rather than, a mixed running club, whatever. I know there are running clubs that do that, but I think just a group of women who feel the same. They just want to go for a little quick run after work, or
and then the social aspect to it as well,
and not feel completely like in a group mass. Obviously, it's going to be a bit more.
Well, when we took Flinny to learn to drive the other day around the back of Ham, that big wide road's got that big wide pavement as well. And I forget which running club meet there, and they were doing intervals along there, like a whole mixed
it's quite
group of
lit along that road as well, isn't it? Which is quite good. But obviously in a group and an organised thing. But if you're just the person who just would normally like go out for a quick run, you would think twice. You would think, I'm not going to go because it's dark.
I mean, literally cycling through the park, I've come across people walking, and you're like, they don't even have a fucking dog.
Yeah.
What are you doing out? And it's not like it's a homeless person that might be looking for a bit of shelter, or it's just some dog. And half of me just wants to stop and ask them, what the hell are you doing? Why don't you have a light on? Because you're scaring everyone. What are you doing here? But then half of me is like, don't think I'm going to ask this person that. It's amazing.
And it is, but it also is like a bit like monsters in your cupboard,
Have you got?
Pardon?
You got a monster in your cupboard? What's monsters in your cupboard?
Monsters in your cupboard when you're kids or under your bed. It's that sort of. God, keep up. Keep up.
I thought it was some sort of well-known
Monsters
phrase.
in your cupboard, where
ants in your pants.
As soon as it goes dark, you imagine like something coming up from under your bed.
Oh, so when I have a wee.
Am I going to finish my sentence?
It's related to monsters in my pants. Monsters.
Same thing. As soon as it goes dark outside, you imagine all these things. If it was daylight and you saw the same person, you probably wouldn't think twice about it. I know you're saying why you're walking in the park late at night, but if you're just walking on a street and it's daylight, if you're walking on a street and it's dark, it does
completely
make your mind work.
So when
anyway, back to your wee in the middle of the night.
Well, when I get out for a wee in the middle of the night, I also have a sit-down wee, polite. I don't have to concentrate. But, we've got that shower cubicle.
Yes, I do.
There's always someone in there when I have a wee.
Yeah.
Yes.
What their name?
So I don't know, but I've got a little light on my watch and I look at it just to make sure they're okay.
But we have this scenarios with you as well, isn't it? If we go and stay somewhere, we have to put a bathroom light on. Yeah. Such a baby!
What? No, because if I need a wee, it's only happened a couple of times, but you stay in a hotel which is really well whatever, blacked out and so on. And I've got no conception of where I am. And then when you need a wee and you're trying to find a light switch, don't want to turn the light switch on because you're snoring, sleeping. And then trying to find the bathroom, it's scary.
It's very, well, this is the thing, your mind plays tricks on you. It's scary.
Mine's telling me no, but my body.
We've done that one on the podcast before.
I don't think we have.
We have.
Okay.
Because we talked about Baz.
Yeah.
Baz. So I think for you, yes, scary in the middle of the night. But also we did have that. I think we have talked about this when we went on holiday. And you ended up doing a wee.
I used to sleepwalk a lot. I don't anymore.
And you went out of the hotel room and lay on.
But when I was about 8, I went out of my mum and dad's house and walked up the road to the local council estate, and someone took me in.
He's a nice posh boy. Let's take him in. We'll get a good ransom for this one.
Little ginger.
All right, half a dodger.
Yeah, in my PJs.
Oh, little Winsiette ones, were they?
What's Winsiette? You come up with names I've never heard of.
Yeah, because you didn't live in the real world.
What's Winsiette? Is that only an Essex thing?
Shut your face.
Well, you're from
Essex.
Oh, sorry, the
Every
Shires.
time, and you're going to alienate all our lovely Essex fans because we have millions of them. You know that ridiculous bedding set that you bought? So bear in mind, this is the man who's always hot.
Tell me about it.
He's literally got menopause, hot flushes all the time. And you like sleeping in a cold bed.
Naked.
You bought the thickest, that stripy.
Oh,
it was very cool colours, and I understand why you bought it, but obviously didn't read any of the small print because it was like Winsiette wool. So back in the 70s, 80s, shut up. Just 70s, people had that
brush cotton
bed stuff. Yeah, that's
can't you call it brush cotton? No one knows what Winsiette.
People will know. People will know.
There'll be like one 70-year-old listening going, oh yes, I remember Winsiette.
Well, I'm educated, okay? I've got a wider vocabulary of words than you. You bought this bed set, which was so hot.
It was hot.
It has never been on our bed.
We could wear it now. It's cold. It's cold now, isn't it?
No, but you've been hot in about 3 seconds. Yes, it is. It's definitely sweater weather. Can you say that?
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Is that what you have to say?
That's a comedy thing. Sweater weather.
What comedy thing?
Well, in New York, they're like, you wear sweater weather. It's definitely sweater weather. Can you say that?
Do you have to push your lips? Sweater leather.
Sweater letter.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Okay.
Yes, it's very cold, isn't it?
One. Oh, and even your ring.
Da-da-da-da. Excuse me, Mr. Yellow.
Yeah, but that's normal. Oh, I got a new Prezi.
Yes, you did.
From the people we went to on the party on Friday night, because they know I like yellow. I'm very easy to buy for. Anything yellow.
Basically.
Anything.
Basically.
I want to get a yellow car.
No.
Oh, come on. No. You said I'd look like an AA van.
You would. Even the RAC are orange now, whatever they are.
Oh.
No, you cannot get a yellow car.
What's the matter with you? Where's your joie de vivre? That's French, by the way.
Totally love colour, as you know, but yellow on a car is a no.
All right.
Like a banana. Driving along.
Very good.
So what was interesting, meeting all these people on Friday, who mostly we know, I think it was about 3 people we didn't know, which is very nice, was Heather, our superfan, was there, obviously telling everybody
Lavender, we'll call her. Codename Lavender.
Okay. Everybody about the podcast, and it was just really interesting feedback. A lot of people said, well, how do you know? Do you script it? Who writes the scripts?
Well, you do now. You've got notes now. You've got
that's
official.
That's not script. That's just from my bad memory to remind myself of things that I want to talk about.
I see.
And so, well, how do you make the content? And how do you do this? And I was like, you just make it up.
It's because well, basically, I talk for a living and you have verbal diarrhea. Do you think that's been passed down?
That's rude, isn't it?
Well, it's not a bad thing. Did I ever say that was a bad thing, verbal diarrhea?
Diarrhea in itself is quite bad.
But
it's not like, great, I've got diarrhea.
But
yay!
your mother likes to talk. Do you think it's a hereditary thing?
No, I think we're just interesting. We like asking questions.
But not listening to the answers.
Says you. I've been talking and you didn't even listen to half the stuff I said earlier.
What?
You don't listen.
What stuff?
Other stuff that I said earlier.
Yeah, you can't remember now.
I can't remember.
I listen. There's occasion when I come back from work and you talk to me and I'm like, whew.
No, you don't listen. It's very rude.
Well, I've been talking all day and listening all day. I'm a bit talked out.
No, I don't mean that. I'm just being rude generally, saying I've got verbal diarrhea.
Well, it's not
I
a bad...
for a living.
When?
I just don't talk all day like you. When? What are we doing now?
What? Okay.
Presenting. posting.
I know, but that's an
comparing,
hour a week.
Talking. No, I don't mean just now, you muppet.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, right, this is it. It's over. It's 27 years gone. Done.
Not another couple's divorce.
Jesus Christ.
50% of people get divorced.
Right, well,
I met someone yesterday at the gym who was having a treatment, who we met 19 years ago on holiday.
Right, yeah.
With Amber and Ollie, his son, who's now 19, doing biomed or something at university, very bright. We were talking 19 years. What were we talking about?
I just wasn't listening.
Oh, that's nice.
You were talking about divorce.
Yes, and that's it. And we were saying we've done well because he says so many of his friends have got divorced. We haven't got many friends who've got divorced. No. In the proportion.
No, in the amount of people we know in our...
It's because all the guys are extremely
annoying, and all the women extremely tolerant of their annoyance.
Thank you.
Anyway, that's that. We're done. Thanks very much.
Mark Roberts.
Escape
Gardener, entrepreneur.
Suzie Cox.
Over and out. Yeah.